Alright, so learning that I need to hone my whittling knives is probably the biggest thing I wish I had learned sooner. Just learning how to use a leather strop saved me a bunch of time and frustration while whittling, and it kept me from having to take the tool back to a sharpening process again. One of my favorite reasons to use a strop is that there's no real setup. Once you have the compound on it, you can just pick it up and go. So what do you need for a leather strop? The basic supplies to hone your knives are simple: a strop, a honing compound, and something flat you can use to gain some height to make it easier. This setup is what most beginners will come across the first time. Now, when it comes to applying the compound, we recommend to use the rough side of the leather just because it is easier to apply the compound. Just rub the compound onto the leather evenly, and that's it. You're ready to go. Now, one of the most common questions I get is, how often should you strop your tools? Personally, I like to strop every 20 to 30 minutes when carving basswood, and more often if I'm working with harder woods. Some signs that it's time to strop include dull or fuzzy cuts, visible lines or streaks when slicing, or even just when you're taking a break. While stropping, I usually make 20 to 30 passes per side, rotating every 5 to 10 strokes to keep the edge even. Next, let's talk about the stropping angle and pressure. Both are really important. Doing it wrong can round the cutting edge and force you to re-sharpen the tool on a sharpening process. The best approach for a beginner is to lay the knife flat on the strop. This works great for knives with a flat grind. As for pressure, less is better. Let the tool do the work. If you press too hard, the lever will flex and start rounding your edge. The best technique is to rest the blade lightly, apply even and controlled pressure, and move the knife with the cutting edge trailing, never leading, or you'll slice into your strop. To keep your strop in good shape, avoid pressing too hard, don't store things on top of it, and keep debris off the surface. If it gets dirty, just brush it off with your hand. Strop maintenance is super easy. You really don't need to do anything for months, even years, especially if you're using a wax bar compound. Over time, your strop will darken as steel from your tools builds up. That's completely normal. And if you've been stropping for what feels like forever, but your knife still isn't sharp enough, check our sharpening process video. In that video, I go through my entire sharpening process from a dull knife to a razor-sharp carving tool.